All right, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today we're recapping gold, the trade I took on gold last night. A couple of you guys asked for the recap. A lot of the times I don't do trade recaps on gold trades, but I decided to this time. So let's get into it. All the confluences, everything, you guys know the drill, all of that good stuff. Going over gold essentially, right? So Sunday Open, I'll give you guys a little sauce, right? I do not trade funded accounts on Sunday Open. The way that I trade Sunday Open, I'm always working on some sort of evals, right? If you guys are not always working on evals, then what are you doing, right? You always should be working on some evals, even when you have funded accounts, right? I have funded accounts and then I have evals that I'm working on. So right now I'm working on a stack of 5 Lucid evals. So the way that I trade Sunday Open, I usually copy trade my evals. When I trade evals, I copy trade evals. Since it's Sunday Open, right, I do not copy trade evals. So I took 2 separate trades on 2 different evals, right? So that's how I trade Sunday Open, especially with gold, just purely based off of risk, right? We are assessing risk. Now, obviously, could I have copy traded this first trade and half passed all of these accounts? Yes, right? But it's better to manage your risk than full port everything or do everything at the same time, right? Because at the end of the day, right, you pass one account, well, then there you go. There's another funded account. You can work on the other ones at the same time, right? Because if you blow all of them, well, there you go. You got to reset, work through all of them over again, right? So on Sunday Open, I only trade evals, and at the same time, I also only trade one at a time. So I ended up half passing 2 evals that I'm working on right now. Obviously, I have a stack of 5 Lucid accounts. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is at 52, 153. This one is at 51, 358. So I did end up making between both of them on the first trade. I made 1,568.54. Second trade I made $1,665.34. So $3,233.88 combined. Like I said, these are on evals. Realistically, if this was during the week, would I have taken this trade on a funded account? Probably not, and we'll get into it, right? So anyways, coming out of the market open yesterday. I believe we opened lower. We opened lower, I believe. Anyways, well, what ended up happening, right? Well, so this is what happened, right? We opened around here. We ended up pushing lower first, and then we came up higher, right? So this 4-hour leg right here at the current time, we were way overextended, right? So obviously from up here, it was around down to like here or something like that, right? Is where essentially we were at, right? So equilibrium lines up with this 4-hour gap right here, right? So for me to take a trade on my actual funded accounts, if this was once again during the week, I would have wanted to see a pull into this 4-hour gap, because if we're taking a trade from here, we're way overextended, right? We're probably not going to make a large move if we have unmitigated 4-hour gaps above us, right? But what did we end up doing? Well, we ended up coming up and tapping into this hourly gap right here, right? So we made our move down. We put in that market open wick, which is an extremely strong drawn liquidity. Then we ended up coming up, sweeping out these highs right here and tapping into this hourly gap, right? As you can see right here, so off of market open, we made that push down, put in that market open wick, and then pushed up into this hourly gap, as well as this 15-minute gap. I believe it's a 30-minute gap as well, right? So just adding confluence, stacking that confluence together, right? And so from here, now I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a chance that we go down, right? But at the same time, I'm not sure yet, right? Because this is an eval only trade. This is also like a B plus setup. B maybe. The reason for this being, number one, I don't like taking reversal plays off of gold. I like just straight up continuation trading them, because it's less manipulation, right? People are, the Nasdaq has manipulation in the mornings. Obviously, AM session we're manipulating someplace, then distributing in the opposite direction, right? So for that instance, right, that's why I don't necessarily like taking trades that are reversals on gold, especially during Asia session. Asia session is most of the time just continuation trades. If you can find a continuation trade, then take it, right? So obviously in that situation, I don't like doing that. So that's obviously going to like rank the setup a little lower. And then at the same time, we have 4-hour gaps at our stops essentially, right? And so we have unmitigated 4-hour gaps. Obviously, you want to take those out. We have, triply stacked highs here, which is another pretty strong draw on liquidity as well. So I would give this setup probably a B. So definitely an eval trade regardless, and especially being Sunday night, 100% an eval trade. Anyways, well, what ended up happening? What were the confluences for this trade? Literally, all that I took this trade off of was a respection of this 1-hour gap, high time frame bearish structure, right? So you have to keep that in mind as well, right? We're obviously in high time frame bearish structure. Higher time frame is extremely bearish, right? We're kind of just dumping, right? Boom, this all looks extremely bearish, right? Realistically, we're going to dump, right? So, I mean, technically it's a continuation trade on the higher time frames, but lower time frame wise, kind of a reversal. We were accumulating, we manipulated lower actually, and then distributed higher, and then reversed off of that. So, like I said, once again, right, don't like taking reversal trades, but this did end up playing out. So, what ended up happening? Well, what ended up happening was delivery off this hourly gap, took out some of these generated highs, and then we have this wick to target. So the reason that I did end up taking this is because we have this strong wick right here, right? If this was not the market open wick, then I probably would not have taken this trade if this was just some regular low. The reason is this is super strong, right? Any sort of weird wick that you're seeing on the charts that looks odd, that looks like it should be taken out, is realistically going to get taken out, right? So anyways, what did I wait for? I waited for this 3-minute inversion, right? We're still trading inversions just because it's, what's it called? Just because, I don't know what I'm saying, just because it's an eval trade, right? Not a great rated setup, we're still getting the entry that we want, right? We're not just going to enter off of nothing, right? Until we go down here and I show you this trade. Anyways, entered off this 3-minute inversion, had our stops above this 5-minute gap right here. The way that I trade evals is with a tight stop loss, and then just, let it ride essentially is kind of what we're... All right, we just tapped into an hourly gap on NQ. Anyways, tight stop, let it ride. As you can see off of that, I didn't even end up going break even on this trade because I've been getting effed with the break evens. But anyways, this was for $1,500 on this account. I obviously would have targeted all the way down here, but like I said, just needed to half pass these. This was $1,500 worth of profit. If this was my actual funded accounts, I would have targeted all the way down here. But like I said, it was not, therefore, boom, whatever, right? So ended up hitting this right here. This was before 8, I believe. Yep, this was before 8. Ended up hitting this. That half passed one of the evals. So then I'm thinking, okay, that's a really good trade, solid, nothing else that I really want to do. And then we actually ended up opening up this 5-minute gap right here. And this was a much better trade technical wise than the first one, because this was much better trade technical wise because this is a continuation trade, right? Super solid continuation trade. 8 p.m. opens up, we end up pushing higher, putting in that 8 p.m. wick, right, of that 4-hour candle, putting it in higher for then us to manipulate back down lower, right? Wait, is that the 4-hour candle? No, it's not. Okay, never mind, sorry. Anyways, the hourly candle, whatever, putting in that wick higher, right, boom, to then push lower, right? So putting in that wick up, manipulating into this 5-minute gap, still have our draws on liquidity intact. This was, honestly, this is an A+ setup for me because we're delivering off of higher time frame PD array. We waited for the retrace, boom, rejection off of a 5-minute, targeting a strong draw on liquidity lower. So this trade right here was an A+ setup. The only thing is there was no entry really. The only entry that happened got ran through, I believe. All right, can you... Here we go. The only entry that did happen got ran through. I believe it was this 1-minute inverse right here. Yeah, this inverse got ran through. I actually ended up just entering off of a limit order, kind of just displacement. We tapped into the CE of this 5-minute gap, and then once I saw a nice push back down, I ended up entering this trade. So I got in right here where this is. Here, I'll show you. I believe I entered off this candle. Oh my gosh, it's going to reset it, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. Perfect. Oh, yes it is. Never mind. Okay. Okay. anyways, got in off of this candle, right? This push back down, this is just showing me rejection. And like I said, it's an eval, right? So I would never trade an actual funded account like this, but it is an eval, right? So that's why I traded like this. This trade actually would have been extremely fire. We didn't actually take out our break-even point, so you still could have entered this trade right here, had your stops probably at this candle wick, and then targeted these lows down here. So still would have been a super solid trade that you could have taken, even if you followed the strategy and entered off an inversion. But I just got a way better RR off of this, and it's an eval, right? So I'm just trying to half pass it, and I knew that we were going to continue to push lower, right? So this was extremely discretionary, basically just entered because I knew that we were going to push lower. Literally just rejection off of this 5-minute gap. That's all that it really was. But yeah, those are the trades from gold last night. Took 2 trades, ended up making like $3,233.88 across both of the evals that I traded. Once again, dropped a ton of sauce in this video. I am going to be posting an Asia Gold strategy video later today or maybe tomorrow over my exact strategy, how I trade gold, everything like that. You guys can probably get a decent idea from the trade recaps, but I'm going to be going in depth about how exactly I trade gold. So with that being said, that's trade recaps from yesterday, last night. That's going to be it for me. I'll catch you boys tomorrow once again if I take a trade. If not, I won't be there, but you'll see me on the Asia Gold strategy video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that you want me to answer in the Asia Gold strategy video. Leave it in the comments and I'll answer it in the video. But with that being said, peace out.